For many years, Alpha has been a way for me to invite my friends and neighbors to explore the meaning of life and have a chance to meet Jesus for themselves. In this session, I want to help you understand the big picture elements of running Alpha so you can mobilize your team to get started. Alpha is a series of interactive sessions exploring the basics of the Christian faith. In every session, you eat food, listen to a talk, and have discussion in small groups. And it's typically run over 9 to 11 weeks with a weekend away, where there are opportunities to experience worship through music and moments for prayer. Eating food together creates space for people to connect, relax, and build friendships. The talks tackle core questions about life and faith from a Christian perspective, and the discussion allows people to unpack these ideas without fear of being judged or corrected. And I want to emphasize this, because discussion on Alpha is different than typical Bible studies. At Alpha, we want to create an atmosphere where anyone and everyone has a chance to share their point of view, even if it doesn't agree with the teaching. This is one of the most distinct aspects of running Alpha. The other distinct aspect is moments for prayer. These moments of praying, or being prayed for, make space for people to encounter God's love in a personal way. And all of this, the food, the talk, discussion, and prayer ministry, are done in a fun environment where anyone is welcome. Now, every Alpha is going to look a little different. For example, the way Alphas run for teenagers in a home is going to look a lot different than it would for a group of adults in a church building. So for example, my church runs Alpha in a few different ways. Throughout the year, on Wednesday nights, we host one at the church building for anyone who wants to come. We also run it during the day in halfway houses, and some of the students in our youth group also host Alpha for their friends in their schools. Each one is unique, but they all include the same essential elements. There are two main sets of talks you could use, the Alpha Film Series and the Alpha Youth Series. Each is designed with a different audience in mind. The length of your Alpha depends on which series you're using and how many sessions you do on your Alpha weekend. When it comes to scheduling, I look at what night I want to start, keeping in mind that the team training session should happen 2 weeks before that, and then I look for the best date to host the Alpha weekend. Now, let me give you an idea of what a typical Alpha session could look like by walking you through one of our Wednesday nights. We invite guests to arrive at 6:30. This allows our team to meet up at 6 for a quick meeting and prayer. A few team members show up even earlier to set up tables, prepare food, and get the audio and visual ready to go for the night. As guests arrive, we have greeters ready to welcome them and have dinner served by 6:45. This is a great time for people to get to know each other, share a meal, and catch up from the week. Now, some people like to include worship during Alpha, so if you'd like to, a great place for that is right after dinner. Then about 7:15, we start the talk. At around 7:45, after the talk is done, we move to small group discussion. We like to have some coffee and small dessert for people during this transition, even something as simple as some cookies or cake. Now, this small group discussion is such a key element of Alpha. It's a time where people get to share their perspective on that night's topic and ask any questions as they come up. We plan for a solid 45 minutes for discussion, but when we run Alpha for Youth, using the Alpha Youth Series, there are discussion breaks during the talk, so the time for discussion afterwards is much shorter. After the discussion ends, we say goodbye to the guests and have a quick debrief with their team, and then do any cleanup. Our night starts at 6:30 and ends around 8:45 each week. We always try to end our evenings on time, so the guests know what to expect and that we respect their time. While your Alpha might be hosted at a different time of day or venue, it should always include eating together, watching a talk, and having time for discussion. Why don't you take some time right now to look at your calendar and consider a few possible dates that could work. Remember to include dates for training and for the Alpha weekend. I'd encourage you to share those scenarios with your core team to see what works best for you and your volunteers and the community of people you want to invite.